Napheesa Collier changed women's sports forever today. And even if you're not a fan of sports, if you're a fan of women or workers' rights, you're gonna want to hear about this because I really do think it's history. Hey, I'm Coach Jackie with all your women's sports news. So let's just get into this. I'm gonna watch the video back and just give you my comments and some context as we go. So if you don't know anything, don't worry. We'll start out by giving you a bit of context. Napheesa Collier plays in the WNBA for the Minnesota Lynx. She just was injured in their semifinal series against the Phoenix Mercury that the Lynx ended up losing. There was a lot of drama that happened there that I'm going to get to as I get to it in the video. All you need to know right now is that she's a big star, got hurt, her team lost, and is out. So she did her exit interview for the season. And in that exit interview, she prepared a statement, and we're going to watch that statement.
So first of all, I'd like to congratulate the Mercury for advancing to the finals. And I want to be clear, this conversation is not about winning or losing. It's about something much bigger. The real threat to our league isn't money. It isn't ratings, or even missed calls, or even physical play. It's the lack of accountability from the league office.
Okay, so what she means by that when she says league office, she's talking about the people in charge of the WNBA administration and leadership, and that particularly is the commissioner of the WNBA, Kathy Engelbert. We do not stan Kathy. Did I once stand there with my mouth agape as Kathy danced in front of me at a party at WNBA All-Star Weekend this year? Yes. But I really think my shock was because I could not believe that somebody so evil's a strong word. Somebody who was like really doing the players so dirty was really like also just like having a party with them at the same time. It was a crazy contrast. So she was like actively at that All-Star weekend not giving the players what they deserve in the CBA negotiations. But we're going to get to the CBA negotiations as we go, so let's just let Fee talk.
Since I've been in the league, you've heard the constant concerns about officiating, and it has now reached levels of inconsistency that plague our sport and undermine the integrity in which it operates. Whether the league cares about the health of the players is one thing, but to also not care about the product we put on the floor is truly self-sabotage. Year after year, the only thing that remains consistent is the lack of accountability from our leaders.
Exactly. She said, I know y'all don't care about us. Like, it's clear you guys don't care about us getting hurt, but you should care about the fact that the inconsistent reffing is leading to a bad product, which means less money. She's like, I know you guys only care about money, so I'll talk about that, which is tea.
Sorry, I had to walk here in my boot. I'm kind of...
Reminder that she was just hurt herself, right?
The league has a buzzword that they've rolled out as talking points for the CBA as to why they can't pay the players what we're worth. That word is sustainability. But what's truly unsustainable is keeping a good product on the floor while allowing officials to lose control of games. Fans see it every night. Coaches, both winning and losing, point it out every night in pregame and postgame media. Yet leadership just issues fines and looks the other way. They ignore the issues that everyone inside the game is begging to be fixed. That is negligence.
Absolutely. And I want to just reaffirm that's true, right? That all season long, we've seen coaches and players, both on the winning and losing teams, having comments about the inconsistent officiating. That is a true thing that she's saying there, but I want to back up to the part about sustainability. If you don't know, right, Fee is the vice president of the WNBPA, or the Women's National Basketball Players Association. That's the players union for the WNBA. They're currently negotiating a new CBA, or collective bargaining agreement, and the negotiation time that they have to negotiate ends October 31st. So we're really coming close to that deadline. I imagine the sustainability part, that buzzword that the league is using against the players, is maybe them saying that oh, we don't know that you deserve to be paid this much because we don't know if the amount of money we're making right now is sustainable. And let me just say, if the leadership doesn't think they can sustain the growth that they're having right now, then they won't sustain the growth, right? The leadership has to believe in order for that growth to happen. That's true for any company, any business. If you're coming into it, that negative mindset that it's not sustainable where you are right now, it won't be. The players believe in themselves. The players know that they can sustain this. The league is the one not believing in them. That's hugely important, and Fee's going to talk about that.
At Unrivaled this past February, I sat across from Kathy and asked how she planned to address the officiating issues in our league. Her response was, while only the losers complain about the refs.
Okay, first of all, that's so stupid, Kathy. Second of all, if you don't know, because I said this is good for anybody who's new, Unrivaled is a league that Fee co-founded with Brianna Stewart, who plays for the Liberty. They both played together at UConn, and they started a league that happens in the WNBA offseason, because it used to be that during the WNBA offseason, all the players would have to go abroad to Europe and different places, not in the States, to make money to keep playing in other leagues. And that's really unsustainable, to keep on the buzzword, because you want to be with your family and you want to still be able to make money but be close to home and in one place. So Stewie and Feed created Unrivaled, which would be a 3-on-3 league that happens in one spot over the off season. Last season had 30 players, and it pays the players really well, has super good facilities. It basically is a league that puts the players first in every single aspect. Their first season was a huge hit. So she's talking about talking to Kathy when she came to visit the Unrivaled HQ in this winter.
I also asked how she planned to fix the fact that players like Caitlin, Angel, and Paige,
I love how she mentions all three of them,
who are clearly driving massive revenue for the league, are making so little for their first 4 years. Her response was, Caitlin should be grateful she makes $16 million off the court, because without the platform that the WNBA gives her, she wouldn't make anything.
The way that I was gagged when I first heard this, but also it's not true. Caitlin was making a lot of money in college without the WNBA.
And in that same conversation, she told me players should be on their knees thanking their lucky stars for the media rights deal that I got them.
On their knees is so nuts. On their knees? Absolutely not. If you don't know, by media deal, she's talking about the money that TV networks and carriers pay the WNBA to have the rights to show their games on their network. Have there been big media deals recently? Yes. But those games feature who? Not you, Kathy. I'm not seeing you suiting up. Those games feature the players. You should be on your knees thanking the players for giving you a product to sell. The players should not be thanking you for selling the product they give you. And that's on unionizing. And that's on getting paid what you're worth. And that's on understanding the value you have. The value you have. And the players do understand their value, and the league does not.
That's a mentality driving our league from the top. We go to battle every day to protect a shield that doesn't value us. The league believes it succeeds despite its players, not because of them.
What is the point of a league that doesn't go to bat for its players?
I have the privilege of watching my husband run a league where he has to balance 100 different things at once.
FYI, her husband is the president of Unrivaled, the league that I was just talking about that she co-founded.
I won't pretend the job is easy, but even with all of that on his plate, he always takes the time to reach out to players when he sees an injury, whether it's Unrivaled or even during the WNBA season. That is what leadership looks like. It's the human element. It's basic integrity, and it's the bare minimum any leader should embody.
Exactly. I also want to point out that a bunch of players have issued statements of support today, but the one that stood out to me was a retired Mystics legend. Elena Deladon made a statement basically saying that she doesn't even know if Kathy knows that she's retired, because she's like the only person who hasn't reached out to her since she announced her retirement. Like, it's hard to imagine. I just found that very interesting.
This year alone, I've gotten calls, texts, and well wishes from so many players across the league. Those moments remind me that sometimes there are things bigger than the results than this game we play. But do you know who I haven't heard from? Kathy. Not one call, not one text. Instead, the only outreach has come from her number 2 telling my agent that she doesn't believe physical play is contributing to injuries. That is infuriating. And it's the perfect example of the tone-deaf, dismissive approach that our leaders always seem to take.
She said, if you're going to keep dismissing me, I will prepare a statement. I will prepare a statement and go public. And that is exactly what she's done, as she should.
I've finally grown tired. For too long, I have tried to have these conversations in private, but it's clear there is no intention of accepting there's a problem. The league has made it clear it isn't about innovation, it isn't about collaboration, it's about control and power. I've earned this platform and I've paid the price to get here, and now I have a responsibility to speak on behalf of the fans and everyone in this league that deserves better. Our leadership's answer to being held accountable is to suppress everyone's voices by handing out fines.
Okay, so her head coach went off at the refs last game. She did. And then after the game, she said this. And because of all those actions combined, she was fined $15,000. And then the two other head coaches, Stephanie White and Becky Hammon, who both like voiced support for Cheryl Reeve after she said what she said, just for saying that they agree with what she said, they were each individually fined $1,000. She knows that she's going to get fined for saying this, which she's about to talk about.
I'm not concerned about a fine. I'm concerned about the future of our sport.
That's a fire line, just by the way. I'm concerned about the future of our sport. Try finding her now, and they probably will. They shouldn't, but they will.
At some point, everyone deserves to hear the truth from someone who I hope has earned the benefit of the doubt to fight for what is right and fair for our athletes and our fans.
Speaking of benefit of the doubt, I know I'm stopping a lot, but I think this is really important just to show how trusted Fee is in this league. Asia Wilson, who is the MVP of the WNBA this year, was asked before her semifinal game tonight what she thought of Fee's comments, and she didn't know what the comments were, and she still was like, if it was Fee, I support. Like, that's who Napheesa is as a leader in this league and as a leader in this sport. It is blind trust, blind faith, because she is that dependable and she has that benefit of the doubt.
We have the best players in the world. We have the best fans in the world. But right now, we have the worst leadership in the world.
Bold.
If I didn't know exactly what the job entailed, maybe I wouldn't feel this way. But unfortunately for them, I do.
Bolder.
We serve a league that has shown they think championship coaches and Hall of Fame players are dispensable, and that's fine. It's professional sports. But I will not stand quietly by and allow different standards to be applied at the league level.
Absolutely. And if you missed it there, basically she's saying, if you guys think that players and coaches are dispensable, then the leadership is too. And we need to get the leadership out. So that was the statement. Why do I think that this changes women's sports history? I think it's obvious, but I will just say that when we look back on the times that kind of shifted why women in sport get paid what they're paid, there are a lot of pivotal moments, and I know this is one of them. Right now, today, Napheesa Collier came out and she said exactly the way that they're being treated, exactly what they're asking for, and exactly the way they're being dismissed. And in this era of women's sports that we're currently in, this current boom of women's sports, we haven't seen that yet. We haven't seen that yet. We've seen it a lot from the WNBA in general, right? The WNBA players are athletes who, unfortunately, in many ways, are really, really good at advocating for themselves because others don't advocate for them, right? Like they have a lifetime of understanding how to know your own worth because others don't know your worth. And so they're not going into those CBA negotiations and just backing down. They know their worth. This could very well end up in a situation where there's a strike. I've heard that tossed around. It could be the case. It's a lot more likely after today, and I don't think that's a bad thing if it means the end goal is these players getting treated like they should be and paid like they should be. I love women's sports. These are the moments that mean so much, and we have to be 10 toes down supportive right now, today. Thank you, Napheesa Collier. I guess I should say it again. I love women's sports.